Oaklands in Murfreesboro is an elegant southern mansion that was caught in the crossfire of the Civil War. It reflects the prosperity of the Old South, the hardships of the war, of course, and for modern-day school kids, a hands-on history lesson. Rob Wiles takes us to the landmark to see how that history comes to life.
About 1/3 of the furniture in the house is original to the Manning family. If not original to the Mannings, it is original to the Middle Tennessee, Murfreesboro area.
The house, which is the really big expansion that you see in the front when you come to the front driveway, it's actually really easy to tell when you're in this area because if you look up, the ceilings are 15 feet high in this area of the house, and this is the only area that has 15-foot ceilings.
And that's because they were trying to display their wealth to their guests.
These young people are getting a look around the inside of one of Middle Tennessee's most historic homes, the Oaklands in Murfreesboro.
This bed is original to the Manning family as well, with the acorns on top.
Which, according to Executive Director James Manning, was settled by the Manning family almost 2 centuries ago.
They moved here about 1818. They were here by the 1820 census, and they started out with a 2-room cabin, and it's still behind us. They just built around it. And this is how their plantation grew and prospered through the years. And eventually, they had a 1,500-acre plantation. And they gave it to their eldest son and their daughter-in-law, who just happened to be the daughter of Governor Newton Cannon of Tennessee, the first Whig governor of the state. And they built the grand Italianate addition onto the front of the mansion. The house is completely restored to the 1860s when the Mannings lived here, when the plantation was at its height. And so you'll see it furnished as they would have lived in it in the 1860s, with the gentleman's parlor and the ladies' parlor and 2 dining rooms and all the grand features of the Italianate architecture and the lifestyle of the Victorian planter family.
Lots of great history preserved here inside the Oaklands mansion. But once in a while, history comes to life outside the Oaklands mansion.
Like being back in time. Reenactors and craftspeople and volunteers are here to give school kids from all around a taste of what life might have been like here in 1860. Education Director Mary Beth Nevels says it's a hands-on kind of experience.
Our focus is hands-on chores of the 1800s. We want to be as hands-on as possible so the kids get a feel, smell, see. They're churning butter on a real butter churn and kneading biscuit dough so they can get their hands in the dough. They make a candle to take home, so they're dipping their string in the wax and getting a feel for what's involved in the chores, everyday chores of the 1800s. We have soldiers encamped, and they're talking about the chores that the soldiers would go through. Go! We've got games. Obviously, the kids would have had downtime in the 1800s. So period games and some dress up so they can get a feel for the time period.
The time period was 1860, and there was a war on.
Remember how to do that?
And crack troops are being trained.
Back on your shoulder?
I never knew drill sergeants were so friendly. Well, everybody is friendly here at the Oaklands, not only the soldiers, but the civilian reenactors, even if they're giving the kids here a lesson on how hard life could be.
What do you think you would have to do as boys as you got older?
You were supposed to work.
Okay, what kind of work?
Like farming and all that stuff.
It was hard work keeping the home fires burning, says civilian reenactor Sarah Hoover.
The soldiers went off, we still had to survive at home. We had to tend to life without the men still at home. So if I was at home on a farm, I still had to figure out how to keep my mom and my brothers and sisters fed. Civilians were the continuation of life beyond the battle.
Seeing and touching are perfect ways to learn, according to Cynthia Duncan, who brought her kindergartners from Hickory Creek Elementary in McMinnville here to the Oaklands.
It's great for kindergarten age children because they like to see and do and touch and feel, and they're tactile learners, so this works out good for them.
And while they're here having a good time, they're learning about how people live and who lived here, including those held in slavery. They are not forgotten. There's an exhibit about that. And the natural wonders at the Oaklands are not forgotten either, although Executive Director James Manning says few people here are aware of them.
A lot of people come to Oaklands and they never realize that they're just around the corner from a spring that runs strong 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, and hasn't stopped since prehistoric times. We also have a tree on the grounds which is on the National Register of Historic Trees, and it's over 250 years old.
And from which the Oaklands gets its name. Hard to imagine something 250 years old, especially when you're only 5 or 6 yourself. And while the lessons of this day may not sink in until these kids are a bit older, right now they can agree on one thing.
Y'all having any fun? Yeah. Are you?
Absolutely. Enjoying and learning at the Living History Field Day at the Oaklands in Murfreesboro.